what and how does that translate into the next topic I want to talk to you about around innovation and leadership dynamics, right? So you have this person that's coming out that's like used to like commanding a room
Yeah.
in an ecosystem, literally commanding.
Sure.
And they come out and now they're in the private sector and people don't play by the same rules.
Yeah.
And they're put into an ecosystem now that, again, they don't know, people don't really understand what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk the same, they don't think the same,
Right.
and they definitely don't respond the same.
Mm-hmm.
How do you coach that person to be ready to anticipate that, and how do you help them foster that innovative leadership mindset around those around them?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, if we're talking innovation and they're sitting there with a new organization, like this isn't new. We kind of discount, I think, in our, circles that we are, or and maybe there's a stereotype that we're very like structured. But frankly, we're very flexible. And we pick up every 2 to 3 years with new teams and new organizations and new missions, and then we get really good at it and they move us again to a new team with a new leader and a new mission. And frankly, even if you have the same MOS, doesn't mean that you're doing that job every other time, right? And so I think they're so capable of fitting into a new team. They're used to sitting there and understanding like they need to sit and listen, understand who's like the big daddy rabbit and who's the person, like all the different personalities at that table. But at the end of the day, when it's about innovation, it's about momentum, and mission, and I think enthusiasm. And that's what a leader, especially a military leader, we get a mission and we understand you can't be like Eeyore. You need to be enthusiastic about
Did you just say Eeyore?
yeah. I mean, you can't. You can't be like, oh, this is really going to be terrible. I just really don't want to do this, guys. Right? Like, who's going to follow that?
No one.
You have to show up. And these are basic leadership traits that they bring to the table.
Exactly.
And so I think being optimistic about, hey, we've got this really great opportunity. Here's how we're going to solve the problem. What do you think? I mean, they're used to having buy-in. They're used to asking the team to feedback, And so I think there is a stereotype, and it's the wrong one, that we are rigid or that we are in a silo and we're abrasive or all those things. But frankly, it's just wrong. We are the most flexible and the most collaborative of any organization because we have every walk of life. And we have to get, like you said, from A to B to C, and we need you to buy in and believe every step of the way. Right? Or you're going to have like a mutiny on your hands because you put a room full of Lance Corporals, they can do amazing things. So I just think that it's discounted, no matter what rank that is, that military people are a little bit too rigid or unable to be flexible when in fact that's what we did for years.
I love that you say that, because I think the rigidity that is perceived is, and maybe the lack of flexibility isn't about any of that at all. It's about that when we show up, we show up. And people aren't used to that, right? And it's like, when we're in the room, we're in the room. And when you got a leader that comes out and we're in the room, we're in the room.
Yeah.
And that comes with a different level of like, there's a mission, we got to go do it. And not everyone, like we talked about this off camera, not everyone is ready for that, or not everyone can handle that.
Yeah.
Because like, it doesn't, sometimes in life, like the democratic process on those things just doesn't work. It's, guess what? Yep, it sucks. We all agree that this may not be the right idea. I've talked about it with the leadership team. I've said my piece. I may not agree with it. That's what we're going to go do.
Yeah.
And end of story.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually,
And
I just posted on that yesterday.
And you just pack it up and you go. And you call the play and you execute the play. and save your energy, save your bickering, and move forward and execute to the best you can.
Exactly.
You don't have to like the play, but you
No.
execute to the best of your ability.
Yes.
And
Exactly. That's what we do, and
that's what we do.
I think that's really just sometimes overlooked, and it's not on a resume, right? Like, that's what I usually point out is, like, what's not on the resume that you are getting for hands down across every rank. And you're getting bearing, you're getting tact. You don't agree? Well, we'll talk about it offline, but I won't talk about that I don't agree with you in front of the group, because that just diminishes your capability to lead. So, like, there's things that we just have grown up and we're taught, and
Yeah.
we don't even cross a line like that.
I have sometimes.
It's not
But
recommended.
but you only do it when it's necessary or if it's needed.
Well, I
And
always say, is it illegal or immoral? If it's just I don't feel good about it, that's not my place. I need to wait my
I know.
time and get to a place. I used to tell my drill instructors all the time. I'm like, you can't get mad about something that you wouldn't do it just that way, because but you can affect the 160 girls that are in the squad bay that you can affect, but you can't affect
Yeah.
the things happening above you. And so you want to be able to make sure that you don't step on the toes. If it's not illegal or immoral and you just don't like it, you're going to have a chance to change that when you get in that person's billet.
Yeah. There's ways to do it in different settings. And you don't do it when there's mass call, right? When
Right.
like you got everybody in the command, but if you're in a small knit group, like there's ways to handle that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. But you don't just like blazing guns and stand up when there's 400 people in the room and like call out the general.
Right.
That's beyond a career limiting move. Like that's a different level of like, don't do it. So for those of you who are listening, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.